Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan Hetrick, and I'm the best-selling author of books about how to use Insta360 cameras, including a book for the X5 and also the brand new Insta360 X6. When these new cameras are released, I always get a lot of questions about what features are going to make a difference and how the footage compares. So in this video, I just went out and I filmed a bunch of beautiful comparisons for you guys, so you can look at the footage side by side, and I can help you decide which of these cameras is going to be a better choice for you. Both of these Insta360 360 cameras are top-notch cameras that are going to give you the best 360 footage. But let me show you some of the features that are different between the two cameras. Now let's go take a look at some comparisons between the Insta360 X6 and the Insta360 X5. First, let's just take a look at the physical differences between these two cameras. And when I do these comparisons, I'll always put the X6 on the left side of your screen and the X5 on the right side of the screen, just to make it clear for you. So you can see the two camera bodies are quite different. The X6 is actually a little bit shorter and a little bit wider. They're about the same thickness, but they just made it a little more compact, so it's easier to mount the X6. The X5 screen is a little bit taller and longer, whereas the X6 screen is a little shorter and more square-shaped. And you'll notice on the X6, there's no button at the bottom of the screen here. You actually have on-screen buttons that are pressure sensitive. So it's a little bit different than how the X5 functions. You'll see there's also a physical shutter button here on the side of the camera. So if you want to start and stop recording, you can do that there. As far as weight goes, the X6 is actually a little bit lighter than the X5, but you're not going to really notice much difference as far as weight goes when you've got it mounted, because it's pretty small. Both of the cameras actually have replaceable lenses, but on the X6, they came out with kind of a new system for replacing it that's a little bit easier. And also those replacement lenses are about half the cost of the X5. Both of the cameras mount basically the same. They have that 1/4-20-inch thread on the bottom of the camera here. But the X6 has these little contacts here, so you can actually use magnetic mounting and mount it to some new accessories like this, which is a power handle. So now you can actually control the camera through these buttons right here, even though it's not connected with a cable. So you can start and stop recording right there on the handle. Both of these cameras are waterproof as is, without an extra case. So if you want to take them out in the surf or in a river, you're fine to go in the water with these cameras. However, when you go underwater, neither of these cameras is going to have sharp videos because those lenses are curved. To film underwater with either of these cameras, they require a separate dive case, which is available for both of them. And I'll show you some comparisons between those in just a minute. In terms of what's on the inside of these two cameras, there's a couple of big differences. The Insta360 X6 has 47 gigabytes of internal storage. So if you don't have a memory card or you don't want to use one, you can use that internal storage. The X6 also has new faster processing chips and also uses dual 1/1.1-inch sensors. So these are going to get you better low light footage and also more detail and quality in your shots. It's going to be able to take in that low light better, and you'll see this in the comparisons when we go to look at those next. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to subscribe so that when I come out with new videos for the X6 or the X5, you can be the first to know about them and learn more about your 360 camera. Now let's take a look at some comparisons between what these cameras can create. So both of these cameras have a few different recording styles. You can either record 360, full spherical 360 photos and videos, or you can record flat videos where it's only recording out of one of the lenses at a time. You can also record gimbal style videos where it can either follow you or follow a subject, or you can just use it for gimbal style shots where you've got really smooth footage. First, let's take a look at some comparisons in 360 video mode, because this is going to be the mode that you use most often, most likely, and it's the most important mode in my opinion. There are a couple things that I want you to look for as you're watching these comparisons. The first one is the detail in the shots. With that larger sensor on the X6, when you zoom in on your shots and you crop in, which is what you need to do when you edit 360 videos, you're going to see more detail in those shots. So just look out for that in these comparisons. And also look for the dynamic range. Now this isn't necessarily going to make the images look brighter. It's just going to show more detail in the dark spots and in the bright spots. So it'll be a better balance in the shots and give you more balanced images. So in this shot, for example, if you look at the sky there, you can really see a lot more dynamic range. You can see in the clouds, it's not so blown out. And that's just because the X6 has a better dynamic range and can handle those different contrasty lighting conditions. The X6 has a huge step up in video mode and now records in 8K at 50 frames per second versus 8K and 30 frames per second on the X5. And this basically allows you to film all of your shots, whether you want cinematic shots or just regular speed videos, in 8K 360 video. And what's really important about that is when you go to crop in, you reframe these shots, you need to take that 360 video and turn it into a flat video if you want to show it on YouTube, for example. And that's why that sensor is really important and having a lot of detail in your shots. So when you zoom in, it still looks good. In this shot, I'm going to zoom in way beyond where you should zoom in on either of these cameras, just to show you a close-up of the details on these cameras. I mean, obviously I'm zoomed in much further than you should be zoomed in, but you can see there's better detail in the X6 shot. And I think that's the main thing that Insta360 tried to achieve with the X6, is just to take all of the features that they had on the X5 and just improve that quality and try to get better quality So you can really use your 360 camera for all of your shots. So if you want to record with either of these cameras to record slow motion playback, with the X6 you can do that in 8K because it records at a slow motion frame rate, where you can get 2 times slow motion. But if you do want to record for slow motion, on the X5 you have to step down the resolution to 5.7K. And that's going to give you 60 frames per second, so you can do 2.5 times slow motion. And that's where the big difference is, because on the X6 you can record almost everything in that 8K 360 video resolution, which is going to make a really big difference in the quality of those reframed videos, as you can see here. And if you want to record full 360 videos for really slow motion, say you're filming action shots, you want that pole to disappear, and you're going to play it back at a really wide perspective, you can lower the resolution to 4K. And what's interesting is on the X6, it only offers 100 frames per second. So you have about 4 times slow motion on the X6, whereas on the X5, you actually have 5 times slow motion with that 120 frames per second. Both of the cameras have a feature called adaptive tone, which actually kind of color corrects your footage a bit more. And on the X5, you can turn this on and off, whereas on the X6, it's kind of just built in, and it's going to be part of that improved color that you're getting on the X6. Speaking of colors, I think a lot of you will be excited about this. The X6 has 10-bit color compared to 8-bit color on the X5. So if you are into color grading, it's going to give you a lot more colors to work with when you go to adjust your footage. There's also a Dolby Vision option, which is a specific color profile for players that are compatible with this. But for a lot of TVs and stuff, this is going to make a big difference in those colors when you play them back. It's not compatible with YouTube, so it's not going to matter so much for that. But for some devices, it's going to make a big difference. Both cameras also offer iLog color, so if you want to color grade your footage. But the X6 has that 10-bit color compared to 8-bit on the X5. So you can get better colors out of that X6 footage. Now I want to show you some comparisons of low light footage between these two cameras, because that X6 has a new larger 1/1.1 inch sensor. So that makes a huge difference in these low light scenes, and it takes in almost 300% more light than the X5 sensor. These comparisons were shot using pure video mode on both of the cameras in 8K at 30 frames per second. And you can really see when you zoom in on these shots, there's a lot more detail retained in the X6 footage. So if low light is a big deal for you, this is going to make a big difference and really improve your night footage. And I did find with both of the cameras, you can still get jittery footage when you're recording at night if you're not holding your camera steady, but the quality that you can get with the X6 is definitely far superior than the X5. Although the X5 also produces some really nice night videos, and I was really impressed with it when it first came out. It's just when you look at them side by side, you can really see a big difference. If you are interested in filming underwater, both of these cameras have dive cases made specifically for them. And both of these cases are invisible dive cases, so the pole still disappears from your shot, and you won't see a stitch line at all when you go to play back those videos. So this is amazing for underwater shots. The X6 has a new Pro dive case that's actually more tailored to underwater filming, and it does require a couple extra steps. The X6 has special underwater dive lenses, so you just swap those out. And at first I was really intimidated by this, but then I did it a couple times and it's super quick, but it is a little extra step. But it makes a big difference, and now with your underwater footage, I feel like it's a little closer to what you would get with an action camera. Whereas there's always been like a little bit of sacrifice you've been making quality-wise for having that invisible selfie stick shot and being able to film yourself underwater. But now the quality is really a lot better. As you can see in this comparison here, you can really zoom in a lot closer on your shots and still get nice, sharp footage. I just barely touched the surface of filming underwater with your 360 camera here in this video, but I am working on an underwater video for 360 cameras, and I'll link to that video right here when it's ready for you guys to watch. Both of these cameras can also be used more like a traditional action camera, where you can choose to record out of a single lens. You can record out of either of the lenses, and those are going to put out a flat, regular video that's ready to share. On the X6, they upped the video resolution so you can record in 5K at 60 frames per second, compared to 4K and 60 on the X5. And you can see also that larger sensor is going to make a difference in the image quality on those flat videos. You will notice that the field of view on the X6 is a lot tighter than the X5 until you get down to that 5K at 30 frames per second, and then it's going to be a wide field of view just like the X5. So if you are using your X6 for single lens, close-up vlog shots, you still do have that wide field of view available. And if you want to record those flat videos in slower motion, you can also get up to 5 times slow motion in that 4K video on the X6. So that's going to be really nice if you already know your composition and you just want to film it and have a video that's ready to share. Both cameras also have a single lens video mode that's dedicated to recording night videos, so you can use that pure video mode when it gets dark or in low light scenes. When it comes to the third style of filming with either of these cameras, which is the gimbal style, both of these cameras have InstaFrame 2.0. And this is a mode where you can actually set it to track your subject, and it'll follow you all the way around the frame because it's a 360 camera. You can also set different gimbal settings where you can hold the camera and it's going to use different gimbal settings that it's kind of replicating from a real gimbal. InstaFrame is a really useful mode for vlogging because it's already framed on yourself. And on the X6, they really stepped it up because you can record in 4K at 30 frames per second, and you can have an 8K 360 backup file. So if you don't like the way the framing was, you can always go and reframe it later. On the X5, you can also record in 4K at 30 frames per second, but you can't do that 360 backup. So if you want 360 backup, you actually have to record a 1080 video. On the X6, you kind of have the best of both worlds. In terms of audio, I'll do an audio comparison for you guys so you can hear what it sounds like straight from both of these cameras. But they both have the same amount of microphones, except the X6 also has a new hidden microphone that's dedicated specifically for recording motorcycle engine sounds. So you're gonna get clear engine sounds if you are moto vlogging, and that's actually just hidden here inside the X6. I just want to give you guys an audio sample recorded using both the cameras so you can see what it sounds like when you're recording using the in-camera microphones. So you can tell on either of these cameras you've got good audio. And also, if you want to connect an external mic, you can use the Insta360 Mic Pro, the Mic Air, or also another brand's microphones such as the DJI mics. And those can just connect through Bluetooth. So hopefully you get a good example of what the audio sounds like, plus you get to enjoy the beautiful view. There's also more modes available on both these cameras. Both of them can record time shift videos that are sped up motion lapses in 8K 360 video. You can record stationary time lapses. And on the X5, you can actually record those in 11K, whereas they max out in 8K for some reason on the X6. But both of those are very high quality, and you're gonna get those better low light time lapses with the X6. As far as the full 360 spherical photos go, the X6 can take 120 megapixel photos, whereas the X5 can take 72 megapixel 360 photos. These are really fun when you want to pull multiple different angles out of a single photo, or you want to actually add movement to your photos to create kind of a moving feeling as you're looking around that photo. And if you do want help with any of these features or a more detailed introduction to this, you can check out my beginner's guide for either one of these cameras. And I also have a super useful book for either of these cameras that walks you through everything that you're gonna need to know for either of these cameras. If you are really wanting to get the best results out of your camera, I think you'll definitely find it really useful and inspirational. So you can check that out in the link in the video description below. Next, let's take a look at how these cameras work. Because it can record all the 8K videos you want, but if it's not functioning properly, you're not gonna get the videos. Both of these cameras are super fast and responsive. Insta360 did add some extra processing speed in the X6, which is gonna allow for some more auto editing features and things that I'm gonna show you in just a second. And it's really quick to respond, but the X5 is no slug. They're both really quick. For example, when it comes to quick capture, these cameras are gonna power on almost in an instant, pretty much at the same time. It looks like the X6 is about 1 second quicker than the X5. So not a big difference there. Those faster processing chips on the X6 also gives it increased battery life. The X6 actually has a larger capacity battery, and you can get up to 140 minutes of recording time on the X6 in 8K at 30 frames per second. So that's about a 50% increase over the X5 battery life. They both also have fast charging, so you can recharge these batteries super quickly and get it back out there and start filming. When it comes to editing, this is where there's really a huge step up with the X6. And they tried to make it where you basically don't have to edit your 360 footage. Of course you're gonna want to, because there's a lot you can do and it's fun and creative to edit these 360 videos, but there's also some automated features here on the X6 that are not available on the X5. Or if they are, they're not quite as fully featured as the X6. One of these is the AI director. And before on the X5, there was a feature that was like this, but on the X6, it's actually gonna be able to create a daily vlog video for you. It's gonna do it all in the camera without uploading in your footage, so you have full privacy. But there's an AI analysis that goes on in the camera. So after you finish recording and your camera is charging, it's gonna go through and analyze your footage if you choose to have this feature turned on, and it can actually make a short vlog video for you at the end of each day. The results will obviously vary, and what I really like about it is it's not uploading to the cloud, it's just right there natively on your camera. There's also a new zero editing feature, which is AI multimodal. So it'll actually go in and give you some templates for certain scenes that you're filming and create an auto edited video for you. And that's just improved here in the newer version of the app that's compatible with both of these cameras. Basically, you can go into the app, select the clips that you want. It's gonna auto analyze everything and create a video for you right there in the app. So that's a really nice way to get easy edited videos out of your 360 camera. There's also a new feature called Moments Pro, which you can actually create a video based on keywords. Moments Pro uses clips that are stored in your Insta360 Plus cloud storage to make these automatic videos. So if you're using the cloud storage, this is a great way to get some automatic videos. Plus there's an NFC chip on the X6, so it's really easy. You can just put it up to your phone for fast transferring of files. As far as accessories go, most of the accessories are compatible. For example, any of the poles with that 1/4-20-inch thread is gonna be compatible with either of these cameras. Because the cameras are quite a different shape, Almost any accessory where you have to put the camera inside of it, like a dive case, is not going to be compatible, as well as the photography grip. It's just not going to be compatible. You have to get a new one if you get the new camera. Of course, there are some new accessories for the X6 that are going to take advantage of that magnetic connection and also of those electric components at the bottom that are going to allow it to charge wirelessly and also be controlled through the pull without using a cable. If you do like to use InstaFrame a lot, the X6 is not compatible with the free-framing selfie stick that was made for the X5. Insta360 did come out with an improved design which is compatible with both the X5 and the X6, and this is the foldable selfie stick remote kit. This little foldable selfie stick has a joystick remote that you can use with InstaFrame 2.0 on either of these cameras to control your camera just like a gimbal. So this folding selfie stick just kind of built on that free-framing selfie stick. You can also remove that little joystick remote and control your camera remotely using InstaFrame 2.0, even when that remote's not mounted inside of the handle. And like I mentioned before, both of the cameras are compatible with the Insta360 Mic Pro. That's going to give you the best audio with either of these cameras. As far as the price goes, you can see the price of these two cameras right here. The X6 is definitely a step up in price, but also keep in mind that you can use Insta360's trade-in program where you can get up to $50 off either the X5 or the X6 just by trading in one of your older action cameras. So what is my final opinion on this new camera? Well, if you're just starting out with a 360 camera or you're in an older model, it's definitely worth getting the X6. You might as well get the camera with the better quality, which is the X6, as long as you can afford that higher price tag. If you already own the X5 and you're happy with the quality of it, you can just stay with the X5 for now. I think this year has kind of been the year of quality, where it's got all the features already kind of dialed in, and now they're just trying to make it look better and better so that 360 footage is more versatile and can be used for more things. And I feel like the X6 accomplishes that. I do wish there was more super slow motion settings for either of these cameras, but I guess that's something to wait for in the future. You can check out the link in the video description below for a free bonus if you decide to pick up the X6 now. Whichever one of these cameras you decide on, I've got a great beginner's guide for each one. So I'll put some links in the video description below and also right here on the screen. So go check that out now and have fun getting started.